What is going on? Okay, got it. Sorry, it said recording in progress and it made me nervous. Anyways, Chris, it's going to full cathedral in Florence that he sends a picture of. It's really cool because it has people in the front and everything, so should be quite a challenge for us, and I'm really anxious for him to get talking, so I'll shut up now. Take care.
Well, I don't know why you're so anxious, and don't judge it to be great until the very end. Hopefully it is, but appreciate that, Lisa. No, this is fun, guys, and you know it's consider it a virtual sketch crawl tonight. And you know, Lisa and Anna both asked me a couple of weeks ago if I'd be interested in just doing a little demo or whatever. And those are always fun. Certainly you have to prepare. So I began to think, okay, where do we go? Do we just do a little downtown scene? So I called my principal resource for suggestions, and that's my daughter. And a couple of years ago, she had the opportunity to tour Florence and go all over Italy. And she sent me a series of photographs of Florence. Obviously, it's one of my favorite cities. I thumbed through them and said, I think I found what I want to sketch. And it's the, I'll try to pronounce it in Italian, but it's the Basilica di Santa Croce, or Croce if you're Italian. But it's essentially the Basilica of the Holy Cross. And what's significant about it is it's the burial place of Michelangelo, along with some other famous folks. But I stopped at Michelangelo. I thought that was pretty significant. But I also thought it would be a pretty cool subject to draw for tonight. So I you know, for a number of reasons. And when you look at a photograph, obviously always what we talk about is observation. We talk about quick drawing, quick sketching, getting your ideas down quickly, you know, and then as the scenes get more complex, we all begin to say, well, wait a minute, can we use the same characteristics, the quick draw and the quick observation, the quick studies as the scenes become more complex? And the answer is yes. You know, how do you simplify? How do you make it as simple as possible? And I like the idea of doing something virtual and something certainly in one of my favorite cities, Florence. So what I wanted to start out with first is, you know, everybody always asks, well, what do you use to sketch? Everybody has their favorite pens and so forth. I've got a little cachet of fountain pens. And I'm going to attempt to sketch this tonight with a fountain pen, or series of fountain pens. But I wanted to show you a couple of things first. A couple of maybe we can do some quick studies or thoughts or whatever. But and just go through kind of the fountain pen thing. Someone was mentioning earlier, you know, about pastels and equipment and things like that. And you can never have enough. And when I started the fountain pen frenzy, I found out quickly that you can never have enough. So if everybody can see this, you know, I'll go through a few. I've got about 10 or 12 of them. And this one is a moon man pen. And and hopefully it's kind of loaded up. But what I particularly like about the point, it's a bent nib. It's what you call the Fuda nib. You've heard me talk about that. It's in Asian, it's brush. It means brush, Fuda, F-U-D-E, and it gives you a nice variety of line. And what I like about it is one pen can give you quite a diversity of line, which is kind of fun. So you know you can see a nice diverse line quality there. And obviously when you sketch quick, and if you're on textured paper, it really creates kind of a nice broken feel to it, which gives it a little bit of character. It gives it a little bit of line character. So that's the Fuda Moon Man. That's the brand. I like to use that. Another part of the Moon Man series is there's another Fuda tip, and I started getting these things only because I like the looks of them, and that's always. So this is another, again, bent nib, gives you a variety of lines, and it's given me the opportunity to warm up a little bit too, which is good, especially when you do any printing or anything that gives the line character. It's always fun. It's even better when the pen has ink in them. In one of the issues with fountain pens, and I've found, obviously they're messy. You're going to get ink on your hands. But they do give you a variety of satisfaction and a variety of line quality, I think, which is really good too. This is a sailor pen. I believe it's a 55 or it's a 45 degree pointed nib on it. And I haven't used a lot of these a lot lately, but they just give you a nice kind of level variety of lines, which I like. This one has a little bit more bend to it, and this is a sailor pen as well. You can get these through Amazon if you're interested. But the printing is kind of cool, and in writing and whatever people care to do, it just gives you a nice quality to the line, which is kind of fun. So I'm gonna sketch with a few of these. Then everybody knows the Lamy. This is just a straight up fountain pen. It's relatively inexpensive, but it gives a good medium, got a medium nib on it. Gives a good medium point to it, and that's a pretty good pen as well. That's a good writing pen. A lot of them have their own their own barrels to change your ink. This one comes with a refillable tube. The problem is it's not water soluble. So as Jessica Shippey likes to do with a non-water soluble pen, you use a little a water brush pen, and you get a real nice texture or tone. But this one's kind of the old standby. That's kind of a good one as well. Then you can graduate into some other different ones. This is a fine tip. It's a flex nib, which I like. It's a Conklin. And I basically like it because the harder you squeeze, that tip actually flares, and it feeds the ink a little deeper, and you can get a varied line. So you can get kind of a cool line if you do this with the flex nib. If you guys can see that, all right. It's kind of funny in that way. But this is a good one to draw with as well. Good solid line. That's a pretty cool pen.
What was the name on that one again?
Conklin, Conklin. Then I've got the Duke 209 Fuda. This is an inexpensive one, but I really like it because it's small and it's reliable. Usually the ink flow is real good. I say usually because you always have those moments. And sometimes they work, and then you get real frustrated. And you go, "Oh man, do I really want to do this? Give me my simple flare again." Okay, so again, just to give you kind of an idea of the look of that pen. This one's kind of cool. This one's good for smaller drawings. This one I have. It's a Pilot fine tip pen. This is the one I'm going to be sketching with tonight. There's a lot of detail in the drawing, the example drawing. So I think this one would be kind of a good one to just start laying out the lines with and see where they go. And then you've seen me use the bad boy. This is the bad boy. This is not for children, and this is one that will either change your style forever or it'll ruin your ability to ever want to sketch again. And it's the Duke 551 Fuda nib, and you can see the size of that bad boy. It's bent quite heftily, but the level of line, they put a line down like that, and then to also put a line down like this, that's a pretty cool pen. And then the more you lean it up, you lean it down, you can get really quite a diverse line. And to me, it's awesome. To me, it's one of my favorite ones to sketch with. but I tell you, it's a fuel guzzler. It's a gas guzzler. You'll have to have a little refillable, opportunity with your little jar of ink or something. Some of you guys have seen me do this as a little needle. It's not really hypodermic needle, but it's a little plunger that you stick into the ink bottle, and you can draw your ink up. I think I got a little ink in here. So yeah, that's kind of a cool splat, isn't it? Well, look at that. That was really unintentional, but man, look how cool that looks. Anyway,
Just too loud for you.
yeah. But anyway, that's you put that in, you draw your ink out, and then you can unscrew the barrel, and then you just insert the ink in, and that alleviates a lot of the mess, and that works pretty well from there. So our object of this evening, and I want to just look at it for a second, because in urban sketching, it takes quick observation and then, okay, what am I going to do? Normally, a picture like this isn't as intriguing because it's a straight on elevation shot, as we say in the world of architecture. What I always like is a little bit of an angle. You get a little bit of perspective. You get you get some nice shadows and things. So when you look at this picture, what do you see? Well, it's very complex, but yet it's going to be an interesting subject to simplify. And then the other thing, from my eyes, as principally a watercolor artist, I like to see where are the light glimmers, where can some of the accents, because it's not a perspective, you don't really have an opportunity to show a lot of cast shadows and things like that. And if I could just
That's
ask,
where Michelangelo is buried.
yeah, if I could ask you to mute, that would be awesome.
Was that up on the hill?
Yeah, it is by the dome, if you like. But if everybody could,
down the bus, way up
yeah, if
there.
everybody could just please
that
mute,
one
and then if you had a
monastery
question,
there,
just let me know.
That's where I got the cross. And,
All right.
remember,
So anyway, so one of the things that I noticed with this particular picture, you've got some cast shadow, and we'll see it hopefully when I get to the watercolor. I'm going to look at this when I look at shadows, I look at light that seems to be diagonally crossing. You have to look hard to make that happen, but there's glimmers of highlights and that sort of thing. So it's the form. It's made up of a number of geometric forms. It's got some foreground and primarily middle ground. The background is limited, but we can work with that. So I really liked the way that shaped up. And again, we're going to simplify it. So those of us drawing along, and I want to make sure we draw along tonight, because that's the big push. So I did a little quick preliminary sketch earlier, and I just wanted to show, and I can do this quickly again as well, but I wanted to show how we could simplify this object. When you look at the complexity here, there's so many cool geometric forms that we see. Obviously, you try to get this rectangle here, which is here, this base rectangle, and again, the number one rule in art is you don't want to center your subject, but this is urban sketching. So you know what, I'll go. There's no rules. It's just have fun. That's kind of the bottom line rule. But when you look at this rectangle, there's a rectangle inside of a rectangle. You got another one, a vertical rectangle here. You got a horizontal rectangle. Then obviously you're topped with triangles. So I think if we can get our proportions right, our first step will be really laying this out and understanding kind of the proportions on your page of what this will look like. And then we'll get into what we're thinking about for detail, and we'll see where we end up. I'm not sure where we're going to end up. So that's why I was telling Lisa, don't compliment until we're done. So, and it's the same with urban sketching. And I was telling Lisa and Anna last night, I said, I want to set up as if it's an urban sketch. I want to use my same sketchbook that I use in urban sketching. I want to be uncomfortable, which I am. I'm sitting down, and maybe I'll sit, maybe I'll stand. I'm not sure. I got the lights on, so it's warm where I am as well. I don't have my fan on. So I'm trying to reproduce, a Jacksonville August day, if I can. So you want to give it a little bit of level of discomfort. So anyway, Any questions, thoughts before we start putting some pen to the paper?
I have one.
Yeah.
I
Jessica.
only have one phone with me. Is there a picture-in-picture that I'd be able to continue to see that somewhere, or would you be able to like? I can
That's-
log out and draw and come back and set a timer, or
Yeah, you want me to try to set it up to where I can have the thing next to it like this? Does that help?
only if it's not distracting to you. I apologize. I just found myself prioritizing.
No, I like it because it just adds to the level of discomfort.
No, I feel bad.
I'm all good. I'm all good. So does everybody have their pens and stuff ready? Everybody wants to kind of like start up and see where it goes?
Chris, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you doing it on horizontal when it really looks like a vertical composition?
Well, it's interesting you asked that because I think horizontal is going to give me a little bit more room. I like to cheat. and these sides here are intriguing to me. And again, I want room to bleed. I want room to bleed mainly on the sides because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of room here. You're right. As a horizontal, you know, this would fit so much better vertically. And you're probably right, and I'm wrong. But for some reason, I want to go horizontal and look at the scale and see if I can create this with a little bit of edge treatment if I can. And I don't know if that answered it or not, but you know, sometimes it's the feel. But you're absolutely right. If you all want to draw this thing vertical, please do, and that's and see how it ultimately comes out. And I always say the hardest thing for me to draw is a vertical line, because to me, you know, do you draw it this way? You know, I want to lean into it and draw that way. You know, if I draw it this way, I'm shaky and things, but that's okay. You know, there's so much levels of detail here. We're going to talk about how to simplify some of this. I'm going to show you some opportunities of how do we simplify. We don't want to draw every detail here, but we do want to get a level of impression of what's going on. You know, and the first thing is how do we drop this building in to this format, whether it's horizontal, vertical, or whatever. So I'm going to stand up, number one, because it's I find it you know, interesting to do that first. So I'm going to see if I can get this page to where you can kind of see it. So where do you start? Okay, number one, you start with you look and see how you want to put it on the page. I think if I do go vertical, you know, I want I want some wings here. I want some wings because I think I can fit it. I think vertically, I think the thing can fit, but I need to center it to where I feel pretty confident, to where I can get some foreground in there. I can get some of these people and get a little bit of activity. You know, I think that's what's going to be fun. So what do? Well, the most terrifying thing in the world of art is a blank page. So what I like to do is just put a dot or scrap or something. Say, okay, where do I go? All right, well, that's going to be one side. I want to see what a vertical line could potentially look like, and see how far I want to go. That's maybe a good starting place. All right, we talked about that rectangle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put a rectangle. I'm going to put a rectangle all the way through. And again, in urban sketching, there's never any mistakes. There's never any lines that are wrong. You just put them down and see where they bring you. See where they bring you. I think we have a lot of opportunity here. And what's interesting is now we're divided. It's not quite thirds, but we certainly have some opportunity to create, you know, to create some sections within this rectangle. So, okay, so we know that if I put a center point here, we've got some columns going up. So what I want to do is now I want to do my vertical rectangle if I can, and I'm going to see where that goes. And I'm not sure how far I'll go yet, but I'll do something along these lines. All right. So, all right. So that now that I've got my vertical rectangle, I'm going to close it off. So let's see. Do I have the height right? I'm pretty close. There's some stuff going on up here. All right. I'm going to just close this bad boy off and see where we end up. See what I look like from a shape. Does everybody remembers this? Everybody remembers this shape we first drew. And that's how you want to simplify it. Everybody drawing along?
Oh, no,
You're not? Okay.
Yes.
All
I
right.
was watching.
Okay. So what can we do? All right, what I'd like to try to do is, I'm not going to stabilize the ground yet because that gives me my flex room. I don't necessarily like to draw a horizontal just yet. I like to sort of get there and see where it ultimately ends up. So when I look at this, okay, I've got some, you know, again, back to Lisa's point, I got a little bit of limitation with my height, which I figured I would, but you know, I'm kind of right in the middle there, but that's okay. But you know, one of the other things I can do, I can sort of cheat a little bit and just draw a center line. You know, and it could be light. All these lines ultimately disappear. Now that's a little center line. You can use it or not use it. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to start coming in with some a little bit of detail to try to get some level of activity. You know, one of the things I like to use too, when you're out in the field, you want to get an angle. You sort of just put your pen on it, give yourself an idea of an angle, and then from there to there, you line it up. And I'm going to say that's about right. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And then I'm going to fire it to that corner. The same here. The other thing, I'm drawing this to myself. Yeah.
Beth?
Somebody have a question? All right. So I'm getting a little bit of a.
Chris, this cathedral that she took this photo of?
It's the Basilica de Santa Croce,
Okay,
which
Santa
means
Croce, yeah.
the Basilica of the Holy Cross.
I think I
and-
took, you know what, I did this. I remember because I've been to Florence, so I had to think about the name of it. And we sat on the steps and sketched, but we didn't sketch the basilica. We sketched the opposite side of the street on purpose because we were looking at tens and thousands of basilicas. So we was like, okay, let's just do something different. But yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it.
Love it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start going in. I'm going to just start putting in just some framework. You know, you talked about vertical. All of a sudden I'm pinched vertically, but you know, I'm not going to worry about that. I just want to get something on the page because there's still some bottom stuff I want to work with. Now, do I have the right width here? Not quite sure. I might be a little thin, but that's okay. I'll work with it. I might even give a little bit more width here. I might give a little bit more width here. I'm not worried about double lines. I'm not worried about things that, because you're going to see those lines will begin to disappear. You know, this is all just laying out where you ultimately want to be. There's a lot of fenestration in there. I'm gonna mess a lot with that. I'm just going to try to put it in a way that, you know, will give you some sense of the complexity, but not kill it, not override it. Now, circles are always difficult too, but I've got a little internal triangle here. So maybe there's another little triangle here. You know, we'll see how this ultimately begins to draw out. And so we can then we can come in with some kind of circle here. You know, however that ultimately looks, you know, it's a little. And that's all we need to do. I'll do a little something in here. We can do this. We can do. And a lot of this, believe me, a lot of this will disappear once you start getting into some of the details here, and you'll see why. because I'm going to break out my big bruiser pen, and that covers a lot of these little thin lines. All right, so then you start bisecting, you start bisecting these geometric shapes. You can see this is chopped in half a little bit as well. So we've got another series of verticals, just about half. Then we're going to have a circle that's in the middle of those guys. And you got to remember, you're standing in the middle of a square. You're out in the middle of Florence, and you're trying to get something down just as quickly as you can without really beating it up. And it's just all about trying to create some guidelines for yourself. And again, circles, I do not like drawing circles. And there's an inner circle here. All right, close enough. You guys getting close? You staying with me?
I tried.
Yes. Trying, yeah.
I appreciate the verbalization of your steps so I can follow along even with my head down.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Keep your head down. So, you see as we're working down the line here, you're just trying to get in some frame.
Damn.
That's all we need to do. We're going to come back and do some magic on these guys a little later, but you're just trying to create some framework. So now we have another little triangle area we want to work with, but we have these little spots, these little pedestals that hold the corner. So the triangle isn't going to quite, and it's not quite to the top of this line, but we'll cheat a little bit. We're not quite sure. Again, this is urban sketching. It's not perfect, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of where we are. We got another little triangle here. Triangle there. Yep, got stuff happening. One thing you have to watch is, this ink doesn't dry quickly, so your finger likes to drag ink around, but that's all part of the character. And believe me, this sketch will have a lot of character, and we're all about character. I like that. And little stuff happening in here. Again, we don't have to be. Just a lot of things going on in here. All right, now we start getting into the center, which is a pretty heavy line. When you start looking at the center of this, drag that guy across. There's a series of lines. In the middle of that, again, a lot of this will disappear. We have some of these little crown columns happening on the ends, and there's a lot of little fenestration in here without getting bogged down too much in detail. We don't want to do that. Again, you want to just get it quickly if you can, and just get the sense and the feel for what this structure is offering you, which is good. So I'm going to give myself a few little cheat spots here. One, I'm going to give a little bit of thickness on these end corners.
Can you pick things up, please, and not. Yes. You're gonna have to not get in the front by.
Everybody okay? Sounds like kids just got off of practice. I'm going to do the other thing too. I'm going to bring these verticals all the way down because that's giving me some guidelines. So I'm going to just bring these verticals all the way down too. Keep my center line open. Let's see, I'm going to say this is going to be one side, this is going to be the other, sort of like that. And then I've got pretty much the thickness that I want in here. There's going to be some interesting fenestration in here. I'm not going to sit and draw all these like this, but I wanted to just give me some guides. If you wanted to do that, you can, and you can begin to see, a little bit of how that can happen. And you're good. You get a little line under there. Okay, so now we've got this centerpiece, which has a little statue at the top, a little statuesque. Something's going to happen right there. I drew that center line, so I kind of know where to start. So, however, it's a little hooded thing. Do that, and then I'm going to draw a little base, little pedestal base, and then we have another triangle coming down here. But before we do, we've got our guidelines up here. We can look at that again and use those as our guidelines as we extend those down. And some of you may even be a lot further ahead and may be finished. I know Patrick's probably putting his signature on his by now. So let's see. So we've got, okay, we know that this goes in here. Again, I'm just going to try to get, well, you know what, another guideline I want to use? I'm going to go right down the middle here because this looks, again, this rectangle is cut in half. So this center guideline would help. So I'm going to go ahead and bring something all the way through. You know, again, not perfect, but it just gives me the idea of kind of where things are. Now I can come in with this guy. A lot going on in here. And there's this little arch coming down. I never like drawing toward me. I don't know how you guys do it, but I don't like drawing toward me. Really awkward. And another something like this. And we got a bunch of stuff happening down here. We got a little circle up here. Again, this could be adjusted just to here. This could be adjusted. A little circle in there. So we know where we're at. We might even put another line in here too. And then I have a door that basically does something like. Okay. Let me look to see. Yeah, I'm probably okay, but again, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I want to try to get the main stuff in. There's a lot of stuff you can get bogged down in. I'm not quite into that yet, but I do want to get. Let's see, we got another little centerpiece here, a little triangle again. We're gonna have some guidelines on this side because you've got the supports. We got this, and we got another one here. Those will sort of be my little guidelines. We're going to go center here. Again, it's just all geometry. It's just find your center point and then work off of those keys. See, we know that this section here, we got a little, it's centered on this line. Yeah, what is it? I don't know. We're not going to get bogged down into a lot of detail, but we're going to give this the idea that it's triangular, obviously. And then we have our little stuff going on, and then I've got one of those ugly stinking things I got to draw toward me again, those little archways.
Jeez.
Something like that. A lot of stuff, isn't it? Then when you start getting real frustrated, you just start drawing lines and see where they go. This is going to be a doorway, a smaller doorway. It's a little less, it's not as tall as the center door. So we're gonna put it somewhere in here. And again, there's a lot of little things in here, but we don't have to worry too much about those yet. So we're sort of getting down to the bottom, and we'll start securing where we are first before we get there. And again, on this side, there's always a lot of fenestration and a lot of little detail. But again, we won't necessarily want to get bogged down in it. We want to just sort of just illustrate, but not render. Got stuff going on here. We got a little statue, whatever. There's just a lot of little things going on that make it kind of fun, because you got to think, when you're out there drawing, you cannot get bogged down in a lot of these things. This thing probably needs to be a little wider. You know, we can do whatever we need to do here. You know, there's just, you know, again, without getting into architectural detail, but it's fun, just some quick lines sometimes, just illustrate a lot. So I'm gonna try to speed it up here a bit too. All right, let me get the whole thing here. I look at my page. Yeah, see, I'm a little top heavy. I mean, you were right, but I'm going to have some people down here. These guys are going to be in the foreground somewhere. So you know what? It's a sketch, and that's all I'm really concerned about here. It's just kind of an eyeballed sketch. So I'm not as worried about the finality of this thing. Because once you start, you know, when I break out the other pen and you start throwing a little bit of color in there, there's a lot of stuff that will ultimately change. You know, it'll change your mind and change your direction, and that's always good. I like that in that regard. All right, so we're getting some things here. Get that little circle in here. Again, without a lot of detail. Okay, all right. How are you guys doing? You doing all right? Love it. Love it. All right. Let's see where we can. I'm going to go back up into. I want to get those little panels. You know, the center line is a little thicker, and I'll show you how we're going to. These little panels. How many are there? I don't know. I've got 5. Okay, so how many lines is that? 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll try to put 4 lines in there. I don't know. I'm not sure if I do or not. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, close enough. The other one is in half, so that's good. I can kind of run those down. And this is another thick line right in here, thick line here. The bottom of this thing is beginning to look like it's somewhere around here. So that's where we'll start putting it down. See where we go. We know we have another inside panel of 4 here, so I'm gonna do that as well. And on this side, I'll just rinse and repeat. The other side, some little center panels. 2, 3, 4. I really like when the pen work is quick. I don't know. There's a lot more energy in it in that regard. It's kind of fun. Finish off some lines here. Okay, what else? What else am I missing? Panels there. Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of lines, a lot of stuff. Pretty complicated, right? Yeah, I like that. All right. So what I'm going to try to do now, if I'm going to try to give the impression of the base of this thing, and there's a lot of things going on in the base, but I want to do it twofold. I want to try to get myself a horizon line, and I want to also start putting in where I think people will ultimately be. So I'm gonna just kind of fake in some lines here. Again, I'm not looking for it to render. I'm not looking to render this in any way. I want to just get somewhat of a quick sketch. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, so when I look at my proportions are probably pretty close. Again, I'm standing in the middle of this plaza. I'm hot, I'm sweating. There's a lot of people around. People are asking questions like, what are you drawing? You know, things like that. So you have to just deal with it. So what's cool is, all right, these guys, I'm gonna start trying to get a little bit, you know, what's interesting too, and I look at this sketch, there's an umbrella in the distance. So I might expound a little bit on that umbrella, and I might add a couple of them, you know, just for grins, you know, maybe 3 of them. Now we'll see how that goes. And where should I put a person's head? This is my horizon line right here. I'm going to use this. I'm going to kind of mark it. I won't mark it. Well, that's my horizon line. So if you want to deal with perspective, then everybody's eye level is essentially on this horizon line. So when you draw people, think about that. That when you draw them in, their eye level will hit the horizon. Something along those lines. And there's another person next to him. Again, this isn't a figure drawing class. This is an image, an impression. So all of a sudden now, I've got some perspective. What's really cool is when you start seeing that perspective happen, put a couple of guys on that side, is you put on that same horizon line, you put another head and another. And then maybe somebody's a little closer. You start seeing a little bit of perspective going on here. So I'm going to go further back. You know, this is a big structure. It's bigger than you think. So when you start under the umbrella, you're going to have people. I don't know what's going on under there. Are people sitting or people dining? You know, I don't know. But I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in there, and we'll see what ultimately happens there. And I'll set those people down with shadows in a bit, and you'll see that as well. So you begin to see how now you're sort of creating that plaza sense, that plaza feel. Maybe here is another person that's a little closer. So obviously their head is going to be a little bigger here. You know, again, we'll deal with detail later. Somebody's close. Maybe it's a. You know, some people accuse me all the time of drawing just guys. You know, because of round heads, and maybe we try to throw in a female figure of some sort that has a bag or something. So now you begin to see a little sense or a feel of perspective. You guys getting that okay?
Yes.
Is my audio on?
Yeah.
You know what I love about when we get out and sketch, we can laugh and chuckle and all that kind of stuff. And then when we start sketching, it's dead silence. it's great. Everybody's bearing down. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I got to really bear down on this thing. This is not easy." I'm going to just work a few people in here. And again, I don't want to really get into a lot of detail. I just want to give the impression of very busy plaza. A lot of people start their sketches with people on the horizon line. I like to just add them later. It's just part of the entourage. But again, you can begin to see that you want to get into the sketch. You want to sort of get in and get around with the sketch. Okay, we can get back to that. All right, and there's a lot of little details. I'm going to finish off the structure because I think what I want to do, I want to start getting into some lines and see one at a time. 8:50. I want to get going, so I'm not keeping you guys here till midnight. So the other side, I talked about wanting to have some sides here. So I'm gonna put in this little rotunda that's over here. That's kind of cool. It's got a nice little vertical element that's kind of fun here. And we got it's a little arch there. We got a little hat on it. There's some windows in this guy. There's a again, the beauty of urban sketching is every line talks to you. Every line, something's going on. the energy of that place is transformed by your line, and that's what's cool. That's why I love urban sketching. You know, so that gives me that horizon line again. I can add some people over here. Again, my people are just blobs, you know, and it just you, because you're going to just dab a little bit of paint or color or something on them eventually, just to show that there's activity in this wonderful Italian plaza, and that's all part of it. It's all part of the entourage. So, you know, when you look, see, I talked about going, I don't mind getting pinched a little bit at the top if I have some of those wings I talked about, because I know I always bleed over this way, and I just, whatever's happening over here, I don't know, but maybe it's something going on here that we should know about. Not quite sure, so I won't worry too much about that. Because but the other side, we have some stuff going on as well. So one of the things I'm going to do is we have some details here. I'm not going to mess with them too much. I'm just going to give something to the effect that something is going on over here. We know there's a statue. So what do we want to do? We want to just give the impression that could maybe be a contrast. In some way. That might be kind of cool in some way. You know, it's like some guy in a robe. I don't know. I'm sure he's somebody famous. And then, you know, there's a leg, and then there's a foot, and won't worry too much about that. Again, it's just an impression, and he's on a pedestal, he or she. So that gives me a little bit of something over here. I'm trying to think ahead, and that might be a nice contrast. Now, I also see in the background, there's those building forms. So I'm going to try to show, and it's going back to, you know, something is going on back there. So we have a little bit of perspective. So maybe that's why I need those wings. And, you know, there's being in Italy, there's always fenestration on the roof. There's always antennas. There's always, you know, maybe there's windows. Who knows? But without getting bogged down, and maybe there's a series of umbrellas again over on this side, the little streets and personified. But there's people. Quiet, I love it. Are you guys making progress?
I suck at the people. Do you want me to put the people in, Chris? Because we know how bad I suck at putting people in.
Doesn't matter. You see the level of detail I'm drawing with these people. They're not very detailed. So let's see. I'm going to sort of draw a little bigger person here. You know, this one again has got an Italian leather bag. And you know, that's kind of, you know, do I want to do much more? I don't know. Maybe not. So what I do want to do, I want to start giving some depth to this scene. Oh, you know what? There's another big piece I want to draw in here. And this is cool. This little steeple from behind. So we've got you know, anything like that is going to just offer character. Who knows what's in the middle of this? Let's see. Because I want this to be, when I'm thinking ahead of color, I literally want this to be dark. I want it to be background. So it's got a little angle, a little flare on that thing. So kind of an interesting looking structure. So that's going to be a background piece for me when I start adding color in here. So it's not probably going to be a lot of worry to that. Okay, something like that. And you'll see when we do throw some color. Now we got a real fancy light in there, but I'm not gonna disturb this side. Although it probably wouldn't be bad. Maybe throw that vertical out here. You know, how's that look? I don't know. You know, do we do this? This thing, this ought to be fun to draw. Do it in one shot. There you go. We're gonna say, what the heck is that? I don't know. Some kind of cool Italian light. And just to sort of bleed off the page a little bit, I want to just draw more people. Again, there's a lot of activity down here. Even when you look at the base, it looks like stairs, but I think that's just strata of the building. So that's going to set down a lot of this background. It's going to give me a little bit of contrast. So you can begin to see a real strong dividing line at the base of this building. And then again, we can do it with color as well. Because we want to think of our colors here. Is everybody going to add some color to their sketch?
Can't hurt it.
Love it. Things here. And like I say, a lot of you all may be a lot more detailed than I am with this sketch, but it begins to, you begin to get the sense of the space, don't you? I mean, I'm hoping all of you all are getting a little bit of a sense. So, okay, so we've sort of got the bones, we got the framework, which is kind of fun. So this is when I break out the big board. This guy takes no prisoners. So I have to be real careful how I do that. But man, what I love about it is that you're going to see this thing come alive in a way that's really, really cool. And what I have to watch too is really not going into the ink because I'll have a tendency to do that. But this will cover a lot of errors. That's what I like. That's why I was a landscape architect. As a landscape architect, I had to cover architectural errors. So that was good. We talked about that fenestration of the building. I'm not going to get too bogged down, but I do want to create some of that contrast. So maybe it's just something as simple as this. See how you can begin to see this building come to life a little bit, even with this. And again, you got to think we're sitting out on this plaza. It's hot. We're uncomfortable. We're doing our urban sketching. So let's see. You look where your contrasts are. Let's see, you got a few little guys in here, not a lot going on here. By manipulating this pen, you can kind of judge your thickness. Same here, I've got columns, so I'm gonna just come across here. Just a column here. Column width. I'm gonna again, when we talked about the shadow side, I'm just gonna kind of give depth to one side of those columns, those verticals, just to maybe show that there's a little bit of depth on these guys, a little bit of shadow. Because I have a feeling what I want to do with my colors, but I'm not quite convinced yet. Now, the other thing, the other faux pas of a circle is I don't like circles. So I try to make them cover them as much as I can. So again, see how you begin to see the depth of this thing start to come alive. You know, however many lines you put in, it doesn't really matter. You know, they all begin to work toward the energy of what this is all about. It's really kind of cool. We'll go a little center line here, and we got a center line there. That needs to work. I'll go to the center line. The center lines are a little thicker than normal. So I'll just, you can do it with color or you can do it with ink. But now that you have your centerpiece in, be real careful about dragging over again. I'm going to try to work from left to right. You guys keeping up all right? I mean, this is not easy.
Your pace is really good. Easy to follow, I feel like.
All right. Because we're going to have a throwdown after this. You guys may not know that. We'd have a throwdown or a throw out.
Yeah.
See, I want to come in with this fenestration again, just to kind of set the center down. Again, without getting into a lot of detail as to what it's all about, from a sketch perspective, it begins to read. You begin to see what's going on there. So, and again, you can do all sorts of little things, you know, just with a dot or with something. It's just little detail. All right. We got lines. We got all sorts of lines. I mean, we can get bogged down with lines as much as we want to, but we'll do a little bit here. We got the center line here. Do this on this triangle, and we'll get these little. All right. Yeah, not the greatest, but it's beginning to look like it's got a little bit of energy going. I can't wait to see y'all's.
Good.
And I love this pen in a sense that it really gives that feel of a brush, of working with a brush. We got a lot of stuff going on over here again. Should have some background music, shouldn't we?
Okay.
I like the door. I like the doors having a contrast. So I'm going to lay a little bit of ink in here. I can't really decipher the color, so I'm going to give it a little bit of depth and solidity. Here. Again, we talked about every line, you know, having a little sense or feel or something to it. You know, that's what I wanted this to be. Not a masterpiece, just a sketch. I like about this. Now I'll take this door, the center door. I'm gonna see this pen. I love it, especially on watercolor paper. Man, I love that broken line. That's really cool. I think it's really cool. And I can do this on it because that's my shadow colors are gonna, my shadow direction is gonna be that way too. Does that make sense, guys?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Patrick, are you like waiting for us to finish?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
There's so much to this.
You know, I had to debate whether it was going to be too complex, but I said, let's go for it. Let's go for it. I mean, we're almost done.
I'm glad you picked this because I have photos like this and I would have never started it this way, and it's just made it so much easier. So this has been wonderful.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
appreciate-
why take a lesson and waste it on something you know how to do? So this is all, pick something that's a challenge to learn.
Well, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. And I like it that way. I like to always sort of challenge myself with, it's, and anybody can draw easy subjects, but if you can learn to simplify, that's what's fun. And again, right now, I'm not really thinking of a lot of details here. There's a lot of things going on and I'm just leaving them out. Because I'm not too worried about how they're ultimately gonna look. But it's beginning to get a little bit of depth. I mean, you guys can kind of see it's beginning to get a little bit of depth here, which is cool. I'm going to leave this background kind of light. I'm not going to go over with this thick pen because it's, I want that to proceed. Same with this stuff too. But what I do want, I want a couple of these guys that have a little thicker heads. Don't most guys have thick heads? That's
Yeah.
all right, I was waiting for a comment there, so. Well, we can even. Man, I love a sketch. Now, what's cool about this pen too, okay, my sun angle, I'm going to give it a little bit. Think about that before, maybe this could be kind of fun too. To me, it's all about contrast. If you can create little areas of contrast. You can be able to see where this begins to really pop out. Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Let your pen kind of dance across the top of this page here. On the other side, and need little shadows going on. Yeah, I love the way this pen works though. In this way, it just, we got some ground plane back there, so I want some little shadow.
Chris,
Now,
what's the name of that pen again that you're using right now?
This is the Duke Fuda, F-U-D-E 551.
Okay.
And it'll either ruin you or will bring you to another level. And I thought I'd give it a try. It's not easy, but it's fun. And I've done full sketches with this thing before, but I usually like the layout with a thinner line, and then come back and just hit the accents, sort of like I'm doing here, which is fun as well. So you can do it both ways. You can commit. It's a definite commitment when you draw with it. When you put something down, it doesn't forgive. Yeah, so, okay. Oh no, I'm beginning to run out of spots now. So when, that they usually say that's the time to start quitting or thinking of finishing, but our next step is color. I want everybody to be on the same page with color. I talked about those wings before. That's why I like that width here, because I like adding contrast. It's not there, but I like that sense. Yeah, I just like that. Just set a base down. There's I'm sensing this. We're going to have some kind of shadow that's maybe doing this, and then my light wants to come from this side. So this building will cast shadow as well. So I think I'm going to keep a thin line of light through the center of this thing. We may do something. Who knows what it's ultimately going to be. But everybody okay? Is it past anybody's bedtime? Or?
You're doing fine, Chris. Everything is great.
All right.
Yep.
We're not too late, too early, or whatever. This is wonderful.
All right. I can't wait. I'm anxious to see what y'all are doing. Nice. All right.
This over here has a.
What do you think?
Looks great.
So again, not anything spectacular, but there's always things you could do. When you look at the fenestration of this building, there's some areas within these little half domes. You can put some texture, because it gives a little bit of gradient, tone, feel, sense. And again, we're not rendering. We're simplifying. Lines will work for you.
All right. What else am I doing here?
Is everybody basically at this point? You could maybe start adding some color.
And you want to show it at this point and then color it, or what do you want to do? Just color?
I'm adding color. For me.
Yeah, Lori's probably got a masterpiece going.
Oh, hers is
Yeah,
done.
right. Not like yours, Chris.
Now this is,
I need some paper towels.
I'm just looking around now. I'm looking around just to throw the eyes around the sketch. Again, not getting bogged down in a lot of detail, but it's just some lines. It's just lines of what's going on. It's just stuff. It's activity, it's energy, it's stuff. So, okay. Okay. Keep this up.
Chris, it is so impressive what you do. It's just absolutely amazing.
Well,
It's like, wow.
I appreciate that. It's a work in progress, Laura, but thank you. But this is what's fun, because what you don't want to do is color by numbers. Urban sketching, a lot of people do this ink work, and then they want to just come in and just color by numbers, and a lot of people don't particularly like that. I like to sort of treat an ink sketch like a watercolor sketch. So there's going to be variance in colors and that sort of thing as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 2 travel brushes. You guys seen these watercolor brushes? They're really pretty cool. This is a Skoda. This is a number 10, a Skoda. And I'm pretending I'm traveling. Then I have this smaller one, which is a number 6. It's a little travel brush. And these are my go-tos. That's really all I need for those 2. And, with a sketch like this, I don't need too big a brush, but I could certainly use one. And, we'll start adding some color. So what do we look at? What do we look at with color? As I talked about it earlier, this is a fairly plain facade when you look at it. But what I see I see this nice infill of shadow in some spots, and maybe it begins to lighten up. You got these little light sparkles at the base. So what I'm thinking about, this building is going to cast the shadow. So I want it dark along the base. So I like the top, what it's sort of looking like, what it's presenting to me. It looks a little darker. So I think I want to put a little dark here and then transition the lightness, the color, so the base of the building is light up against the dark shadow that it's casting. Now, whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. But I kind of like that idea, because what do you do with a flat on facade? You always try to look at light snippets and you try to look at some things. So I'm gonna try that first. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the sky. And to me, many great paintings get ruined as soon as you put your brush to the paper. You know, and the skies are part of that. And you know, you have to be real careful about how you're ultimately going to end up. And you know, the other part of this, you know, my brushes aren't real big, so it takes me a little longer to mix some colors. The other part of this is, you know, you oil painters could probably teach me a thing or two about color mixing. You know, probably 70% of your time is on the palette. You know, and in watercolor, it's very much the same thing. It's a way to you know, you mix on your palette, but you're hoping it does what you're intending it to do on the paper. So I'm going to mix a few little blues here, and you know, I'm just going to go for it. Again, nothing. This is just a sketch, so there's not going to be a lot of thought. Ooh, yeah. See, my ink isn't dry yet either, so that's going to be that's a tactical outside error in urban sketching.
No, that's good.
So guess my darks will be a little darker. But
I use a pen that I hadn't used before, and it's water soluble ink.
Yeah.
And I went, oh no.
yeah, but you know, that's okay. That's okay, because you know, this is a sketch, and the beauty of what it's doing is it is a sketch, and I don't mind it. I don't mind a little bit of darkness in there at all. And then we'll get what I'm going to do toward the base. You know, I like to.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
I like to throw in a little bit of yellow ochre. You know, we'll see what ultimately happens. Again, I could probably give this a little more thought, but I'm not gonna. Why do that? And I'm a little disappointed in the ink, because it is a water soluble ink. But I think, you know, again, that pen puts it on strong. And it'll spread it a little bit, maybe more so than what I wanted, but I'm okay with that, because guess what? It's just a sketch. What I can do too, I can do a little bit more, a little dark, just for grins. You guys figure out how you wanted to work with the light. You know, however, I'm good with that. I'm going to use a little bit of a paper towel, and this isn't my typical watercolor paper. This is sketchbook. Again, wanted to continue my level of discomfort. So I'm going to dab a little dab of Duya, a little bit of that color out there. Maybe it's a cloud or two, and maybe you know, it's a. Won't worry too much about it, but I do want this building. I want my darks to be here, and I want it lighter toward the bottom of the base of the building. So what color do you do? I mean, you have a little bit of there's some blues in there. There's certainly some yellow ochre. Man,
That's okay. Yeah, that's good.
I know my ink
That's
my ink usually dries a little better than that, but
It's okay.
yeah. Thanks for that vote of confidence there, Patrick. I always need that, believe me. It's kind of diluting the color, but
And set.
Oh, Lord.
you can't help you now.
I grabbed a purple pen because it was the thick one, and it's going everywhere with the watercolor.
Nice.
Yeah.
I could really cheat and use a hairdryer, but I'm going to try to keep as much white as I can at the base. And that's not easy to do, especially when I got runny ink going on. But I do want to get a little bit of this yellow color in there. I'm trying to figure out if that tree frog is outside of my window or somebody else's.
No, it's mine. I have aquaponics out back, and I probably have 2,000 frogs in my back. Pollywogs, everything you can think of. It's my next door neighbor says she loves it. I think it's like, oh my God, people are going to call me. It's like barking dogs.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing a loud frog here off of my house also, so.
And my pond out front, my fountain, we looked and it's full of tadpoles. So I'm like, oh God, they're coming.
I don't know if I've got any tadpoles. I haven't looked at that.
Oh, I cannot touch this because the whole thing is water soluble.
That's the perils of urban sketching again. You have to adapt to the conditions and see where it takes you.
Let's see, hold on.
It's taking me down the road with a stop sign.
Oh God, I'm going to use another pen.
Okay, so we got
It's kind of cool. That's what I love about watercolor. Again, it paints you. And that could be a whole nother lesson one day later.
I have to tell you, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I love it.
it is.
I'm having a lot of fun. I'm making every mistake possible, but I'm enjoying it.
yeah.
But that's the beauty. I mean, that's the beauty is in the mistakes. And they're really not mistakes. They're learning opportunities.
They're happy little mistakes.
That's
like,
right.
They're happy clouds on a happy day. They're happy little mistakes. And we're just so happy.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy, Lordy.
Oh, my hand is not right. Okay. All right, I'm done.
No.
What do you mean, no? I am done. I mean, there's not much else you can do except for overwork it,
I have to see where you are. Did you get some color on your people yet?
I got color on everything that wasn't running together. think I did all right.
All right. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. It's fun. Dark.
I'll leave those umbrellas. I forget about those guys.
Can't do anything like you're doing because I have water soluble and it's going everywhere. You can't touch it at all. So I need to figure out what kind of ink is in the Sailor pen.
For some reason, I see a little turquoise in that drawing, so I'll leave it at that. And the base, you know, I want to try to get that base solid, so I'll come back and put some colors on the people there after a while. And we have that brown, that kind of steeple in the back. We can't forget that.
I don't have that. I need to draw that, don't I?
It's still kind of dry, but I'm going to go for it here.
Oh, there went my umbrella.
A little bit of something, and then what I'll do, top of that, give a little bit of shadow side.
I don't have very good lighting here to even see what I'm doing.
Well, lighting is everything. Most everything. Although Lombardi thinks winning is everything, but all you old Green Bay Packer fans.
Green Bay. I'm a big Green Bay Packer fan.
I grew up in New Orleans and my favorite team was Green Bay Packers. Figured that one out.
Well, how did that happen?
Before the Saints. Then I became a major Saints fan. Okay, then what else we got? We got a little bit of fun stuff on this guy. I'm gonna try to get some of this background in. Again, guys, this isn't anything that's spectacular, but it's sort of fun to just see how you can simplify a very complex structure. And you know, I'm sure you guys have some incredible work. Don't laugh. I know you do. I know you do.
If this didn't do this, I would be in much better shape.
I liked following along because this white building has a lot more color to it when you're following along with a watercolor
Yeah.
professional.
You know, that's really what's fun when you look at everything. You look at its color. You look at how you can pull the colors out. And I mean, you remember very early on this painting, I wanted to go. Lisa, you asked me about horizontal versus vertical.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to have some wing room, you know, and I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I do like the fact I have a little bit of, you know, little bit of opportunity to set the painting down, set the drawing down a bit. This is not, it's too dark in here, so I have a little bit of dab, whatever, shadow side. A sip of water. Well, I don't know about you guys, but this is turning into a hot mess.
Yeah, I got a hot mess,
Yep.
but it's a fun hot mess.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, it has been fun.
What other way would you want to spend a Wednesday evening? And with a
Right.
bunch of friends creating a hot mess. All right, see what else is back there. We got we got a little bit of, we got some of this back here too. Got to keep that statue not fully immersed. What we can do too is a little bit of start putting some color in these guys. A lot of stuff going on here. I don't know if I'm staying organized or not.
Okay, I'm going too far.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay, that's it. I'm not doing any more.
Not made mud yet.
I got mud. I got a bunch of people though.
That's good.
Remember about all that detail we talked about? It's sort of nonsense. You just get to a point where
You're done.
you don't want to, you don't want to bog down with it. And I want to lay these guys down a little bit right at the base of the building. I want to get a little bit more contrast. I want to try to pull that building. You know what I want to do? I want this. Everybody okay?
Yep.
What's funny is I swear you could have stopped a long time ago and I would have loved it too. It gets more and more dynamic. But I haven't seen the reference photo in forever, so I'm just enjoying watching you paint.
Oh, I can show you the reference photo. This is the reference photo.
Oh, I know, that's fine. Remember, I was away
Oh,
from
yeah.
the house. I've just copied you basically.
So let's see, we got the base, the base, we've got some of these big thick lines. So, we have some opportunity to add a little bit of color, just a little accent. And again, this isn't a rendering. This is just an impression.
Okay, I can't do it anymore.
Oh,
Done.
I think I got a bodybuilder here. That looks weird.
Good.
let's see, what time is it? 9. Oh, it's past time. We're going to start. What do you think? 5 minutes?
Okay.
I'm
let's wrap
ready.
these up.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm
you ready?
done.
That was all I'm gonna do.
I just have so much fun. I can't even. This is the stage which it's just a lot of fun. You know, you just really start just splashing and just not worrying about where things are going.
Okay, that's a little better. Now you can at least see the people.
I mean, you just throw down some little dabs of color, and you know, it's you got that sense of a very busy plaza. You use some of it white. You can just this is when anything that's close to you gets wet. I got stuff splattering all over the place. And what's really cool, what I really like to do is that. All right. It's a bloody mess. But it's an urban sketch, guys.
Looks good.
The best mess I've seen in a long time.
Really.
Hey, you wapa. Drippy. Now, you know, we could always take the time and make, you know, do more to sort of hone it and touch it and that sort of thing. But sometimes it's best just to leave it alone.
Yeah.
And you see where it kind of sits on you, and you step back and look at it. But you know, when you look at the comparison, you know, it's pretty cool. You know, to see the level of complexity, you know, that we've honed and we've kind of simplified. That's a lot going on. So, you know, it's close. If I was in Florence and I did a sketch like this on the plaza, I'd say, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. Next, let's go on to see the dome. So I like it. Like I said, I can't wait to see you guys.
All right, well, let's do it.
All right.
Love those colors, Chris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember this. That's what we ended up with. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, Patrick, well, thank you. I mean, again, this isn't the highest quality watercolor paper, but you know, it's no excuses in urban sketching. You grab what you can, and you have fun with it, and you see where it goes. You know, and when you look at the colors to use here, it's fairly limited. But I'm seeing blues and yellows, and you know, there's still a lot of stuff going on. So you try to you create that same level of energy that you can.
Chris, can you hold up that little picture of the drawing y'all did at first? I was late because I was having computer problems. And so, yeah, I just wanted to take a picture of it so I could kind of study that. Okay, thanks.
What we talked about is we had a horizontal rectangle.
Yeah.
a vertical rectangle. And that's how you start. And then it's a series of
Oh,
just,
okay. All right,
That's-
gotcha.
yeah. So that, that was kind of fun in that regard. All right. I can tell it's humid in here in my house because the watercolors are not drying. My ink isn't drying. But that's okay. Wow. All right, guys, what do you think? You want to have a little throwdown?
Yeah, let's have a throwdown.
Anna, you going to be okay to? I want to, first of all, let me do this. Can we go through each one? Anna, can we go through everybody who's left? Can we see? Can they hold up their?
Yes.
Can you spotlight it?
Yes, who wants to go first? Teresa is there, and then with Barbara. Let's go with Teresa. Spot for everyone.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Very nice.
Wow.
I used my Copic markers for this.
Nice.
Instead of
Nice.
using
Very cool.
this.
That's what I'm talking about with you guys.
That's beautiful. That's
Thank you.
Very
All right.
nice.
Let's
Who's up
see
next?
who is next. Barbara Holt, and let me go. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
nice.
That's
All right,
awesome.
look at the people.
People, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't see much of the color. There is some more color. It doesn't look like much, but there is some color. And
Yeah, but can you? That's just so awesome. Again, you're in the middle of this busy plaza. You're standing there with a sketchbook. It's hot. It's August afternoon. You're sweating. You don't have the right pen. You don't have the right paper. Look what you've come up with. It's awesome.
Very nice.
Who is next?
Who's next?
I don't know.
But okay.
Wow.
Whoa. Beautiful,
All right,
Patrick.
That's gorgeous.
I like the pink.
Fabulous.
Watercolor. I have ink pens like Lisa. They aren't don't work with water.
That is
The way you
fantastic.
see mine, mine are really
Bring
bad.
it up
They
close to the
leak.
camera.
gee,
Nice.
Very nice.
Perfect.
I like the pink. Very nice.
Beautiful. It's
Patrick,
gorgeous.
that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yes, sir.
Who is next?
Who's next? I'll go
Just
next.
go on.
Okay.
Oh, look
Very
at
nice.
that.
Love it.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
Oh, I like the bench and the people too.
No
Wow.
kidding. That's wonderful.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Wow.
It's like gingerbread at the top. So
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Lori, what do you got?
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Oh,
Look at your people.
fabulous.
Yeah, that's a full painting, Lori.
Oh, I mean, it. Look at the people.
Oh, you know what's great about that, Lori, is I feel as if I'm in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm standing in the crowd. That's
Well, that's good.
fantastic. That's spectacular.
That's fabulous. Fabulous.
Wow, man.
And I hate doing architect.
Yeah, but the people made that whole sketch. It was fabulous. Fabulous.
Yeah, keep hating it, Lori. You're doing great.
I get so nervous with the architect.
Oh, there's Mark.
Hey, Mark, what do you got, man?
Hold it up, hold it up.
Hold it up, Mark.
You have to go up higher.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Very nice. Mark.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Nice, Mark.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That's wonderful.
That's
Really
beautiful.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was having trouble with my computer. These are markers.
That is fantastic.
Nice.
Next. Who is ready?
Who else?
Just line them up, Anna. Just point them out. It's almost like the kiss cam.
I'm going with Bonnie and then with Eva. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Wow, Bonnie.
Wow.
Very
I like the
nice.
people.
Beautiful.
Spectacular. That's
Very
awesome. Awesome.
And then Eva.
Man.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, stop. There you go.
Nice.
Nice
color.
drawing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Really good.
Good people.
Man, you nailed it again. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to turn off.
You guys are unbelievable. No, you're not. Yeah, I know this.
You're
else you-
muted.
Thank you, Chris. That was really nice. I enjoyed this.
Oh, man. Is that everybody who showed?
No, we,
A lot of us.
Lisa.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh,
Lisa.
here I am.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wide angle view, Lisa. Nice.
But that pen just, it gooped everything, you know, I
You
couldn't
can't even
watercolor
tell.
at all.
No.
I
No,
love it, Lisa.
Yes.
So Lisa, let me ask you a question. How come you didn't go vertical?
You and I said, well, he must know what he's talking about. So I went with you.
I love it. I
that's
love it.
nice.
Looks great.
Like your people too.
Yep. Who else? Who else has showed?
I could go.
Okay.
Abby
Who's
has
going?
one.
Abby.
Oh, Abby, that's beautiful. I can see
Abby.
hers.
Oh, Abby,
Oh,
wonderful.
nice. Nice color.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
saw more color. I got carried away with the blue in my ink.
No, I love it.
Oh,
I
that
love
works
it.
good.
It's a style. It's such a great style. And you know, when you look close, there is turquoise, there's blue in that picture.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Really nice.
Man, it's so good to just capture the essence of what this building's all about. You guys just did fantastic. Who else?
Well,
I could go.
okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Woo!
Where's that?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Well, there it is. All right.
Wow.
I
Ah,
used,
very different.
Beautiful.
well, it was the first time I
Very
ever
nice.
used the Lamy pen, and it's not waterproof.
Right.
But I like that. I
Good.
So
like
I
that.
just started it and stopped it.
It's
But I
still
like
really
how you let it
fun.
flow. That's so nice.
Yep, it worked.
Look at all the people.
That's the essence of a great watercolor right there. When you let that pen and ink and color control you. But you know what I particularly love about it? It's such a bold statement, a bold shadow. It's beautiful. That's what I was that's what I was trying to produce on mine, and you conquered it.
I looked at it, I thought, oh no, it's ruined. So yeah.
No, it's great.
Nice.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
All right.
very nice,
Who's
Louise.
next? Next.
Well, I can go.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Oh,
There.
Wow.
Look at that.
yeah.
Pretty.
Oh, right. Look at all the
Nice.
people and everything. It looks great.
Great people.
Fantastic. You know what I love about you guys, the portrayals here is you did take the chance with the shadows. As little as those shadows looked across the facade of the building, how do you create even further interest and contrast on a simple, I won't say simple, but on a facade? You do it with shadows. You do it with your heavy contrast. You do it with movement. You guys, it's fantastic. It's beautiful, beautiful work.
You're always so encouraging, Chris.
No, you guys, it's because you guys deserve it. It's great stuff. Who's next?
Zana?
I will show mine.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. All
Holy smokes.
right. Look at that.
Beauty.
Oh, I love how you get all them. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's nice.
I'm telling you, that's one of the best ones I think I've ever seen you paint. I'm not kidding. You have an awesome style. This is amazing. This
Thank
this
you.
one. I'm glad you were watching Patrick when you were doing that. Holy smoly, man, that was good. Who else?
Is that everyone or who else?
Can I go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's
All
about
right.
time you
So
go back
I was
up.
in a car in the
Oh.
dark. I was trying.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Nice and
oh,
bold.
you are awesome.
Thank
Very
you.
cool, Jessica.
You got a lot of detail in such a small space there.
I didn't know we were painting that long.
That's
Lot of
awesome.
depth.
I know. I
Yeah,
kept fidgeting
Jessica,
it.
that is spectacular.
Yeah.
The other thing I love about just the instruments you guys are using, everybody's using what they feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to be fountain pens. It doesn't have to be the Fuda nibs and all that sort of thing. It's the pen that you're comfortable with, and the little color wash and that sort of thing. I mean, that's some spectacular material. It's spectacular views. It's spectacular expressions. I love it. I love it. Who else?
Is that everybody? No.
Yeah. I'm from Orlando, so I'm not amongst your group, but I'll share.
You are part of our group.
You
Connie.
always come to our group, so you're a part.
I have a few times.
All right, we got a little person.
I like that.
Yep, that's nice.
It's very,
Yeah.
it's on very poor paper, so it didn't take its watercolor very well.
But you know
it was
what?
fun. It was a lovely time, Chris.
You know what urban sketching's all about. It's all about discomfort. It's all about the wrong material, the wrong paper, and a great view. So you took advantage of all of it.
And I love the little people.
Thank you. The people were fun. I don't do people very often like that at
well,
all.
You do them quick, and it's just you don't get bogged down on them. It's not a figure drawing class. It's just sort of a scale. It sets the drawings down. It's great. Wow.
Wow.
Hey, let's have
Wow.
Anna, can you take a picture of everybody holding their work up?
Yes.
Wow, Anna, I'm telling you, put a frame around that, get it in the cover right now.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have a picture. Let me save.
That's a cover shot.
All right.
Group therapy.
Wow.
Chris, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
That was great,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
So where
so
are we
much.
going next?
That was fun.
Where are we drawing next?
I went way too long, but this is fun, guys. I love doing this. That's what I was telling the ladies last night. We need to do, if we can't get outside and draw, if we can get together and draw like this, people pick a place. You guys pick a place, come up with a subject, and somebody do, lead the group as you wish. I love to see styles. I love to see, man, these expressions are fantastic. I'm tickled to be a part of this because you guys, every one of you guys had excellent work. And all I heard was complaining and silence and dogs.
I would like to get somewhere and paint some boats.
Yes, I would like to
The
too.
Holland Marina, we're gonna,
Yeah.
that's on the agenda, the Holland Marina. Actually, there's 3 marinas that are on the, for First Coast. So why don't we start painting boats?
Yeah, I'd love
Hey,
that too.
Chris, pick one of those places.
I
Yeah.
love boats.
Well, there's two ways, Lori. Obviously, we're wearing a couple of hats, but the plein air painters can go out to the marina, or we can there's pictures. I've got a lot of pictures of Mayport, some of the old shrimp boats. We can put up a picture there and do a shrimp boat. Those are fun. That's a blast.
I'd love to see a shrimp boat.
These kinds of things are fun. In that regard. Barbara knows. Barbara, when I talked to your group, your color artist, I had a bunch of shrimp boat stuff, and that was fun.
It was beautiful. I would really like to go do that.
I was in Mayport today, and there's about 4 shrimp boats on the dock.
The only problem right now in Mayport, it is way hot.
Yeah.
So,
We will not be sketching out for the rest of August. We'll find some place in September. We'll see what the weather's like then. We got 3 hurricanes in a row here coming at us, everybody. So batten down the hatches and everyone stay safe.
Yep. Well, look, I wanted to just personally thank Lisa and Anna for setting me up to do this. I appreciate it. But I wanted to thank you guys for hanging in there. This is a great crowd and great artists and great sketchers. And just always remember, it's just a sketch. We're not going to hang it, except for Anna's. We're not going to hang it at any museum. But this was fun, guys. I love doing it. And you guys just far exceeded what I was trying to splash on paper here. And that's what makes it fun.
No, this was fun.
Your encouragement and your instruction is what made it possible. So Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
See, Chris, we would like more of your classes. You know, you were saying there were other things that we could do. You had a bunch of other topics. I think we should just do them, you know, when we should meet more.
Well, I'm up for it. What I was telling Lisa and Anna, what I don't want to do is I don't want to wear out my welcome. You know, I love to see you guys as well, but you know what? I love doing this, guys. If there's anything I can do to just monopolize time when you're desperate and need some airtime monopolized, just give me a call. You know, we can
take you up on that.
We're always desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can sketch color pencil, you know, color pencil, marker, watercolor, and then I'd love to see some oil painters, pastel painters. You know, I don't do
Ask you a question. You know, these fancy pens that you use, and I'm afraid of them, especially trying to fill them and all that. So I'm going to stay away from those, especially after what I heard happened to one person wearing ink. What would you suggest is a good alternative to have something that can put in the darks, but not like that does, other than like a Sharpie? I mean,
there's a couple pens. There's a Pentel that I really like. It's a think if I have one hanging around. Yeah, I got a red one. I got more stuff. I do have a pen fetish. So that's, but this is this Pentel. This is a red one, but it comes in it comes in black ink. It's got kind of a cool tip. Anna, do you want to put it on my camera? Do you want to focus on my camera?
Yes.
For a second, and I can see if I can get a piece of paper here. All right. I mean, with this pen is pretty nice because it has a pretty thick line like this, and then you can kind of do this as well. And it's water soluble. It dries pretty quick, but this one is a pretty good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they're pretty cheap. Again, it's Pentel. It's a Pentel sign pen, SIGN. And then if you use a flare, this was my go-to for many years. It still is. It's not water soluble, but it's a fun pen. And this is a good one because you know it has a lot of nice stick to the paper.
But it is water soluble. When you add water to it, it just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. It's yeah.
I like the brush pens. I mean, you know, for your really darks, because
yes.
it's like basically ink, but it works like a pen because you're used to more of a drawing stroke. So these,
that's a good note on the Micron makes a brush pen in different tip sizes as well.
Yeah.
And I've got some of those laying around, but I won't keep you tonight. But you know, those are all some things you can begin to sketch with even more, and they'll take water, but you can get a real thin line, fine line, and then you can get a thicker line.
Okay, and then when you add the watercolor, these aren't gonna run.
Yeah, exactly. In a brush pen, a Micron brush pen, I mean, it literally, if you look at the pen, you know, that's the pen, the tip looks like that. I mean, it's basically a brush. So it can give, you know, a thin line, you know, it could curve, you know, when you put it down, and then you can turn it sideways, and you could really put a massive line to it.
Well, Michael's has these, maybe?
Say again?
You think these are found at Michael's?
Yeah, you can find them.
Ready Arts, probably Michael's. Ready Arts has them. I know. I bought the section. You know, they're not cheap. The thing I love about
they're
a
not
fountain.
that expensive. You can buy them in a and they also have the bigger ones like this.
Yeah. And what I love about fountain pens, guys, and I've been trying to just do more urban sketching with fountain pens, because when you get a pen you like, you just refill it instead of throwing it away. And I just like, I like the, you talk about challenging. To me, drawing or sketching with a fountain pen is the hardest thing to do. And because
It is hard.
as I've told Patrick, it's you commit to the line, and you don't make mistakes. You just you redo the line, you readjust the line. So
That's what I used to think, Chris. I don't anymore. It's a blast. I love fountain pens.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
Well, guys, this is fun. Now, I know it may not be bad past your bedtime, but it's past mine.
It's 10 o'clock.
This was a blast.
Thank you, folks.
This was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you for
Thank
putting
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Meeting.
And good.
We'll do it again, guys. Everybody take care. Great work. Anna, I can't wait
Thank
to see
you.
this posted. This is great stuff. Hey, and post your stuff on Urban Sketchers, man. Post it out there. Let's get a bunch of posts going.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
Good, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
All right, good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.